Hi guys, it's Joy and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I thought it would be a super fun idea if I tried another viral TikTok recipe. This one is by Elle. I've been dying to try all her recipes for so long. I've been such a loyal follower, but for some reason I have just not gotten around to it, and I more watch her videos just because her recipes look really good. I've also been wanting to experiment a lot more this year with different desserts and recipes, and also just healthier alternatives to desserts in general. I'm sure all sweets can be unhealthy for you in a way, but this one just looks delicious, so we have to try it. This one is her viral brownie ball recipe. I'm so excited to make it, so let's jump into the video. Okay, so the recipe is pretty simple. It's just going to be blending a lot of ingredients together. I think she uses a food processor, but I'm just going to use a blender. So the recipe is as follows: 1.5 cups of dates, 3 tablespoons of oat flour, 3 tablespoons of cacao powder, 2 tablespoons of chocolate protein powder, which I do have, 3 to 4 tablespoons of syrup, 1 to 2 tablespoons of nut butter, general pinch of salt, and melted down chocolate bar to coat the balls. I think a big part of what I like about Elle is she does kind of measure with her heart and eyeball some things depending on what kind of consistency she's going for. So we might have to adjust as we go along, but let's do it. Alright, so I have my blender over here ready to go. So for the dates, I've actually been soaking them in hot water for about over an hour just because I've tried to make a date recipe before, and I know from experience it's really hard to blend to a smooth consistency. So I've read online that soaking them in hot water does help. Ooh. So I'm going to drain those super quick and then add them to the blender. Alright, so the dates are drained and they're going into the blender first. The next thing we need to add is the oat flour. I actually don't have oat flour, but I do have oats, and since we're blending them up anyways, I don't think it'll make a huge difference, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so I'm just going to do 3 tablespoons of oats instead of oat flour. I'm enjoying a matcha I made myself while I make these two.
Yes, queen!
This is a bit of a generous tablespoon. I might have done some spilling, but I'm going to vacuum afterwards. This is the chocolate protein powder I will be using. I actually love this protein powder in my overnight oats and in my smoothies. Highly recommend. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of this. Now I'm doing the 3 tablespoons of cacao powder. I'm guessing it's more cacao powder so that it's not too like chalky and like protein powder tasting. Wow! For the nut butter, I'm just going to be using this Nut and Better peanut butter. I think almond butter would also be great in here, but I don't have any, so we're gonna use this. Bruh. This is 1 to 2 tablespoons, so maybe I'll do like 1.5. I do love peanut butter. This is probably a good amount, right? Maybe a little more. Now I'm going to add the syrup. I'm adding this maple syrup. I don't want to add too much because I'm low-key running low and I need this for my pancakes. She said 3 to 4 tablespoons. Maybe I'll do 3. The best part for me is I'm gonna get to lick this spoon of maple syrup and peanut butter. Delicious. What can be better than that? The last thing we're adding is our pinch of salt. And now we blend. So Elle said that if this looks a little bit dry, you can add maybe a splash of milk. So I think we're just going to hope for the best and see if we need to adjust anything. Okay guys, I had to add a decent amount of oat milk to this, and I'm trying to sort of move everything towards the bottom since the top didn't really blend with my spatula, but it's actually starting to blend together. I think if I were to make these again, maybe I would blend the dates on its own first. I'm not sure if I was supposed to blend them with the water. I drained them first, but now we know for next time. But it's looking like it's really starting to come together. So I'm excited. Hopefully I didn't add too much milk because it's a little bit wet, but I had to get it to blend somehow, right? Okay, I think this is as solid as I'm going to get it because I don't want to overwork the blender. It's definitely a little bit more wet and moist than her typical texture, but it does look really good. It looks like brownie batter to me, so I'm gonna roll these into circles and then pop them in the fridge or the freezer to solidify. Alright, so I rolled up about 7 little balls here. I definitely made a mess when I was rolling these up with my hands just because they were super wet. So I think if I were to do this recipe again, I'd definitely make sure those dates are blended first so that I don't have to add so much milk to mess with the consistency. But let's pop these in the fridge before we coat them. Alright guys, I'm back. I've let the balls in the freezer solidify for about an hour. Hopefully they're not too hard, but I'd rather have them be overly frozen for the coating and chocolate part. This should be the fun part, so I'm gonna melt down some semi-sweet chocolate and just coat the balls in it. Okay, so these are the final product. They're a teeny bit messy, but they came out pretty good, I'd say. I might have eaten one last night, but I'm going to leave these out to thaw a little bit just because they're super frozen so that I can show you guys a cross section. Okay guys, so I've been letting these thaw for about 20 minutes, maybe longer, probably a little too long. This is the cross section. I feel like you can see some of the oats just because I didn't really blend those before, but let's dig in. I will say these taste amazing. Yay! To me, they taste exactly like what you think a brownie batter ball would taste like. It's nice and sweet and chocolatey. They still taste like dates, but they have more flavor to them and more of a dessert and sweetness aspect. I thought with all the peanut butter and maple syrup, it would taste too much like maybe peanut butter or overly sweet, but honestly, like the chocolate balances it out and it doesn't taste like a peanut butter dessert to me. I would make it again, but it was super messy, so maybe going forward it would be easier to blend your ingredients separately or to use a food processor, or maybe it's just easier to make stuffed dates at that point. But I do highly recommend this recipe. I think it tastes delicious and I'm really excited to demolish these by myself later. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if there are any other viral TikTok recipes you want me to try, and I'll be back next week with a new video. Bye!